How are you doing? Thank you for clicking on this video. I just want to give you a little recap on myself. I've been following politics and world stuff since 1992, before the Bush and Clinton election. And so I've been following this for most of my life. I'm 40, about to be 41, and I love politics. I love the elections, but because it's mainly, we need to be more aware of what's going on in the world. We need to vote, and we need to know why we're voting. It does not matter who you vote for. Anyone tells you that it does not. As long as you're voting, I don't care who you vote for. I am an independent voter, but I've voted for a Republican and Democrat for the past 16 years, two times each. I'll let you decide who I voted for, when, and all that happy stuff. Maybe you'll figure it out as we get to know each other a little bit more. I would like to talk about President Joe Biden. First, I think it's a sad day that an American president gets bullied into resigning, or not resigning, into giving up his nomination. He was voted on by the people. Whether the people were lied to, we can ask that a different time, but he was 100% bullied out of running for president. And so if that tells you who the most important person of the country is, it's not the president. The president is the figurehead for the Congress and Senate. They're the ones who are really in charge of this country. And what happens is on their back, not even the Supreme Court. So your Senate and your Congress is the most important, the most powerful people in the United States of America. The president just sits there and kind of does what he's told, unfortunately. And sometimes they're lockstep one with each other, sometimes they're not. But he is a lame duck president, and let me explain to you what that means. It means basically the next 6-7 months that he's in office is ceremonial. He will be sitting there, he'll be shaking hands, he'll be meeting with people, but it won't mean anything. Yesterday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but he spoke in Congress. 97 Democrats, just to let you know, boycotted that. And the ones that were there had their own agendas and were protesting on their own special little way while they were there. It was basically a Republican convoy in the Senate. And that's his base. That's all he was talking to. The Democrats don't want business with him. And I promise you, I'll explain that in a minute, because the vice president, Kamala Harris, was not there, and she is there for all the things. And she said it was because she was talking about her presidency, which very well could be true. But there's a reason why 96 Democrats weren't there, and there's a reason why the second most powerful Democrat in the world, the vice president, Kamala Harris, wasn't there. And it wasn't because she was on a presidential campaign. I promise you. But she met with him today after Joe Biden did. And Joe Biden, President Biden, said that he was going to push for a ceasefire in Gaza, be forceful. First of all, Mr. President, you should have been forceful 6 months ago, because the travesty that's happened in Gaza is horrible. Like, to the Palestinians, Israelis for that matter, it's just atrocious. What's gone there is why we're just now trying to forcefully get a ceasefire is beyond me. Two, it's not going to work. He understands that, first of all, his base is the Republicans, not the Democrats. He also understands you're not important anymore, unfortunately. I don't say that with any joy. Like, he's not important anymore. And Benjamin understands that, and so does the rest of the United States. The second most powerful Democrat of this country right now is Kamala Harris. And that's just how that goes. And so she met with him today after Joe. And she says that her and the Israelis are friends, or mutual acquaintances, or whatever the case, the hell you want to call it. Not true, or you would have been there at his thing. Now, don't get me wrong, he didn't say nothing. He did not talk about a ceasefire once in his 87-minute speech. Not one time. But you know what he did? He went on a 2 to 3 minute spiel about how he loves Donald Trump, for how he really loves the Jews, and how he was appreciative of the American embassy being moved to Jerusalem, and him recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. It's just crazy. And yeah, so like, that was never going to happen. So he is looking at who he thinks is going to be president come 2025, which is Donald J. Trump. He thinks he's going to win, and a lot of people do. I'll give you my opinions in later videos about who I think is going to win, because I think they both got a chance. It's going to be a super close election, and I mean thousands of votes in about 4 different states. 11,000 votes. I'll give you that little spoiler. I believe 11,000 votes are going to be the determination of the presidency, electoral college. Now, don't get me wrong, the popular vote's going to go to the Democrat. I already know that, by probably about 4 million votes. A lot of that is California and New York. I always try to, not that you ignore people, but those are so heavily populated and so heavily saturated Democratic. Kind of like Texas is. Well, Texas was for a Republican. Again, we'll talk about that later. But I feel bad for Joe, because Joe is a good guy. I don't wish any ill will on him. I didn't think he should be running for president the second time anyways. I was hoping before he even ran or said he was going to run, I was hoping he wouldn't, because I understood that he was getting older. And I know Trump's only 3 or 4 years older, but they look 20 years difference by the way they talk, by the way they move and stuff like that. And so I just wish Joe could have went out with a little more dignity, but he didn't, because everyone knows he got bullied out. And I put a little bit of that blame on Dr. Jill Biden, because again, she could have just said, "Hun, let's not do this." She knows exactly how he is. Like what we saw on the debate stage, she sees every day. I mean, he might have some good days, and absolutely he does. But you need to be picture perfect for 4 years of running for president, because the slightest distraction will cause you a lot of world problems and a lot of scrutiny. And Joe's a good guy. He's a career politician who did a great job in Congress and in Senate and in Washington for 40 years. And he has my respect on that part. It's a new game. Kamala is taking the reins, and we are going to see if Kamala has what it takes to overtake the former president. She's got some issues herself. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this now, there's a segment of this world who won't vote for her because she is a woman and because she's a minority. She's going to have to overcome some of that, because they're both going to get 40%. And 40% is going to vote Democrat, 40% is going to vote Republican. It's the 20% that are independent that they're fighting for. People like me, who they're fighting for. Now, I'm not that person who's not voting for her because she's a woman, and I'm a little more progressive. I have 4 daughters. And I will give you my thoughts on her because I'm still trying to get to know her. Unfortunately, she wasn't on the main stage very long, and I don't think Joe Biden did a very good job on preparing the world for her. He put her in charge of losing arguments. He put her in charge of the border. That was a losing argument for the Democrats all the way. And it just is what it is. The Democrats want to see a lot more people come over than they don't. And Republicans, they want to see nobody come over. There needs to be a middle. There has to be a middle ground. I wish we could do away with the Democrat Party and the Republican Party and just be the people, because that's who suffers from the infighting between the Republicans and the Democrats, is us, the people. So I will be making more videos about world stuff, politics. We'll be ramping up for this November election, and I will be doing a live commentary on the election as it's going on, vote for vote. So please get down in the comments, like, subscribe, tell me who you think is going to win the election, Trump, Harris, and give me a reason who do you think is going to win and why. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great day. Thank you for joining me.